Okay, good morning, guys. So this is Physiology. Today is Friday, April 24th, and today what we're going to do is conclude the rest of the endocrine system for this module so that you guys can start the formative assessment, which is the Chapter 7 quiz. And for Monday of next week, I had scheduled that we do the discussion board assignment, so we'll get into Zoom groups on Monday and we'll answer some of those questions or talk about them together, the questions that Anna read us previously. And then all of next week, I wanted you guys to either get into your groups or individually start researching and working on the summative assessment project that Kenneth just read us. For those of you just joining us late, please check Schoology so you know what those assignments are and the due dates, but please know that the due dates are not strict due dates. They're kind of just soft due dates, as I'm calling them, so that you at least have a timeline of events. But like Scarlett told us earlier, you cannot do the very last assignment until you do the quiz, okay? So if you have no other questions about that, I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen with you. Do you have any other questions? I know Alma just joined us. Do you have any other questions for me, or can I move on? Alma, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do today, like I said, is we only have a few more organs that we need to talk about. And that is the thyroid and the parathyroid. I'll start with this today. So today I'm going to show you a brief video about the thyroid glands. And the reason I want to show you that video is because, like Kenneth just told us, you're going to do a little research, and I do mean little research project about a disease or a pathology of the endocrine system. And one of the diseases that you're going to look up actually occurs in the thyroid glands. So first, the thyroid glands, in case you don't know what it is, it's in your throat, and I'll highlight it right here for you. You can actually feel it. It's so again, this organ here we remember from class. This is called our voice box, right? This is our larynx. These are our tracheas, as highlighted here. And around your trachea, you have this little butterfly-shaped object we call the thyroid gland. Okay, and the thyroid gland and its accompanying gland called the parathyroid, and again, this is the front view or the anterior, but if you look at the back view or the posterior, you have these little small glands that attach themselves to the thyroid called the parathyroids, okay? So what those glands do respectively, and I'm going to go back for you now, what those glands do is the thyroid is responsible for regulating your metabolism with a hormone called thyroxine. Does anyone remember what metabolism is? We talked about this when we were on the digestive system. Does anyone remember what metabolism is? Metabolism? Metabolism, guys? What's metabolism?
It converts food into energy.
Thank you, Daisy. It's how our bodies use the things that we consume, like Daisy said, like food in particular, and it's how we convert it and use it as energy. But our digestive system does not do this by itself, right? The food goes in, but then what we actually do with it is actually controlled by the endocrine system, like we've been saying. This system is so important to our overall function and homeostasis. So yes, the food goes in. Now what you do with it is controlled by this hormone called thyroxine. Can anyone think of any problems with that? Like what if, you know, I decide to eat, 10 cheeseburgers today. How do I decide where that energy goes? How do I decide if that gets turned into fat, if that gets turned into muscle? Well, the thing is, our bodies are smarter than we are. Our bodies have a plan, and that plan is the endocrine system hormones, because this hormone right here, thyroxine, decides how that energy that we consume is actually used. Okay. And I'm going to show you a brief video of the consequences of that. Because what if I don't use it? What if I store all that energy? What if I have the opposite problem? I eat and eat and eat and eat, but I don't use any of that energy. I'd rather just burn it really quickly. We're going to see that there's actually two different scenarios for problems of the thyroid. They're called hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. Okay. Like I said, the two small glands on the backside of the thyroid are called the parathyroid, and they're responsible for controlling our calcium levels in our body with a hormone that we call PTH. Okay. It's an important hormone, but today I really wanted to focus on the thyroid hormone. So let me show you a brief video now of some of the consequences of, like I said, not having a thyroid that uses the energy we consume efficiently. And the names of those two disorders we're going to watch right now in this brief video. Okay. So we're going to watch right here. So I sent you guys a link on Schoology. Let me show it to you now in your website folder. I sent you a link of these videos I'm about to show you, and you can always rewatch them. And I would, because again, like Kenneth told you, you're going to do your own little video project on any disease you choose. But I linked it to you right here. So in your website folder, I sent you the Hormone Health Network, and it's really great because they actually like alphabetize every known endocrine system pathology. So please use this website is what I'm telling you for your little research project, okay? But I'm going to show you today these YouTube videos by the same company, the Hormone Health Network. And today I'm going to show you one about the thyroid, okay? So yes, there is thyroid cancer, but that's not what I want to focus on today. I want to show you, where is it? Right here. Okay, let me know if you can hear this, okay? Give me thumbs up if you can hear my audio. Thumbs up if you can hear the audio. Okay, let me enlarge.
Kathy and Carrie are twin sisters. Like most twins, they're a lot alike. They like the same music, the same foods, and enjoy the same activities. But recently, the sisters have been feeling a little different. Kathy has been having trouble sleeping lately. Her heart seems to be racing a lot. She's been sweating and feeling stressed out, and she's been losing weight even though she's not dieting. Carrie has the opposite problem. Carrie can't seem to get enough sleep. She's tired all the time. Her skin is dry and her whole body feels sluggish. And even worse, she's gaining weight despite not really eating any more food. What's going on? Well, Kathy and Carrie decide to visit a doctor to find out. They each see an endocrinologist, a doctor that specializes in hormone difficulties or diseases. She runs some tests to measure the level of thyroid hormone in each of the sisters' blood. It turns out that Kathy is hyperthyroid, which means her thyroid is putting out too much thyroxine. Carrie, on the other hand, is hypothyroid, so her thyroid isn't making enough thyroxine. That should be good news, right? Now the sisters each have a diagnosis and a course of treatment. But unfortunately, Kathy and Carrie leave the office with more questions than answers. What is the thyroid anyway? What does it do? What can happen if there's too much or too little thyroxine? So when they get home, they do some internet research. They visit hormone.org and learn that the thyroid is a butterfly shaped gland at the front of the neck. It releases a hormone, thyroxine, that influences almost all of the metabolic processes in the body. They also find additional resources to help them understand what questions they should ask their healthcare provider. And the good news is that with a proper diagnosis, thyroid problems are often treatable. Kathy and Carrie are back to feeling great and enjoying life again. If you've got any of the symptoms that Kathy or Carrie have, our free online resources.
Okay, so again, brief little video about the thyroid gland. So let me go back to our notes here for the thyroid. Okay, so questions about the thyroid gland. So what does the thyroid and thyroxine do again for us? About Alma? Alma?
Yeah.
So what does the thyroid and thyroxine do for us according to the video?
Um, um,
Looks like you're gonna have to rewatch that video, Alma. Good thing I'm recording this. How about Haley? What does thyroid and thyroxine do for us? Haley. How about Scarlett? What does thyroid and thyroxine do for us?
Does it has something to do with our metabolism?
Yeah, and so what was hyperthyroidism according to the video, Scarlett?
Um, I think it was the one that set up one of the girls' metabolism.
Mm-hmm. And what does it do to the metabolism of her, though? Hyperthyroidism. What does it do again?
Um,
So the root word there is thyroid, but the prefix was hyperthyroidism. So what does it do?
um, I'm not sure.
Kenneth? Hyperthyroidism. What did it say it does to us? Hyperthyroidism.
It makes too much of the hormone thyroxine.
Right. And what effects does that have on our bodies?
Uh, wasn't she the one that was losing a lot of weight
Yeah,
when she wasn't eating a lot?
exactly. Thank you, Kenneth. Yeah, so when you have too much of this hormone thyroxine, which regulates metabolism, Alma, what happens is when you produce too much of that, your body essentially burns through the energy that Daisy was talking about. So yes, you'll lose weight. Yes, you'll be skinny the rest of your life, but that's not a good thing because there's many, many worse problems that occur other than just losing weight. Heart problems, osteoporosis, feeling tired all the time because you're burning energy all the time. The opposite problem that they discussed was called hypothyroidism. So what was that, Anna? What was hypothyroidism?
When it produces too little thyroxine.
Exactly. And what were some of the consequences or effects of that?
She felt like droopy and she was gaining weight.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the opposite effect. Rather than burning all that energy real quick, she's storing it, and she's storing it as fat. So people tend to gain weight. So neither one of these is really a good thing. That's why they're called pathologies. Okay. And again, so here's where the glands are located. So here is the thyroid. Like they said in the video, it's this little butterfly-shaped organ in the front of your neck. And on the back side, if you look at it from the back, the little glands that accompany the thyroid are called the parathyroids. All right. We already talked about the pancreas. Now I want to tell you about the thymus. So the thymus is a gland that we're going to look at again in the immune system, which is going to be an upcoming chapter. So I won't say too much about it here, but the thymus gland is actually located right above the heart. And the reason we're going to talk about it with the immune system is because it's responsible for helping us produce T cells. And T cells, in case you don't know, are your best friends. They're what are going to help us combat any foreign invader into our bodies. So we need these guys. They're our fighter cells, okay? And they do this with a hormone called thymosin. We'll look at that later, so I'm not going to focus too much on that. What's cool about the endocrine glands and the hormones is the glands and the hormones kind of have the same, they sound similar. So thymus produces thymosin. Uh, Thyroid produces thyroxine. Parathyroid produces parathyroid hormone. So it's not too difficult to remember some of these, okay? And I'm not going to ask you to memorize anything for the quiz either. That's not the point of this class. I just want to know, can you explain it, all right? So that's the thyroid. We talked about the pancreas last time we met. We talked about the thymus briefly today, and I don't want to say too much more about it because we'll look at it again. But here's where it's located. So here are your lungs. Here's the heart. The thymus is this little piece of, um, it kind of looks like a butterfly, as you can see as well. It has two different sides to it, a right and a left lobe, and it's located right above the heart. And its job is to help the immune system create T cells that help fight off foreign invaders. The last glands I wanted to talk about are called the gonads. And obviously this is a long slide and I'm going to end here. And I'm going to end it by showing you a video as well. So can you read us, please, Daisy, the first two bullet points?
Gonads develop into testes and ovary in male and female respectively. Follicle-stimulating hormone FSH released by the pituitary gland causes them to produce sperm and eggs.
Very good, thank you. So the gonads is just a generic term for your sexual organs, okay? And this hormone, FSH, which is actually produced by the pituitary and the brain, is the reason why those gonads do anything to begin with. So again, going back to homeostasis, going back to overall function. The endocrine system affects everything, even your sexual reproduction and your sexual development. So, yes, those organs that we call the testes and the ovaries are part of the reproductive system, but the reason they function to begin with is because of the endocrine system. So, this hormone called FSH helps these organs to start releasing what we refer to as the sex cells, right? The eggs and the sperm. But that's not all they do. They also, on their own, produce their respective hormones. So yes, they're controlled by the pituitary, also known as the master gland, but they have their own hormones. And in particular, the ovaries produce two hormones. And again, these hormones are not only found in females like we saw in the first video that I showed you. These hormones just occur more in females. So females have more of these hormones known as estrogen and progesterone. So can you read us, please, these two bullet points? How about Scarlett for the ovaries, the ones I just highlighted?
Estrogen responsible for development of female reproductive system, regulation of the menstrual cycle, the development of female secondary sex characteristics, progesterone, progesterone responsible for regulation of the menstrual cycle and is important in preparing the body for pregnancy.
Very good. So for females, it's essentially responsible for giving us the sex characteristics. That's what estrogen does. Okay, so males, we do have estrogen. Okay, it just doesn't do what it does for females. We do, males like myself, I don't have this hormone. I don't have progesterone because progesterone is exclusive for the menstrual cycle and for pregnancy. So although I do have this hormone, I do not have this hormone, okay, as a male. The testes produce a hormone known as testosterone. Can you read us this last slide, please? How about Kenneth?
Responsible for development of the male reproductive system, the maturation of sperm cells, and the development of male secondary sex characteristics.
Very good. And what I mean by secondary sex characteristics, for males, having the sex organs like testicles and a penis, those are what we call the primary sex characteristics. Secondary sex characteristics, I'll just put them here in parentheses, is like hair growth, muscle mass, change in voice. Okay, the things that we consider like male features. Okay, for females, the female secondary sex characteristics would be things like, for females, the secondary sex characteristics would be things like breast enlargement, weight gain, and widening of the hips. Okay, so these are some of the male and female secondary sex characteristics, and all of that is produced by hormones from the ovaries in the females and the testicles in the males. But to begin with, the only reason those things function in the first place is the pituitary gland, okay? So I'll go ahead and share with you one last video about those organs, and then we're gonna pause there for a sec. Let me share with you one more screen here. Okay. Go back to this video here. All right, so from the same Hormone Health Network, and again, they have a lot of good videos related to the endocrine system, but the one I wanted to show you, and again, feel free to use these for your upcoming small little research, but the one I wanted to show you today was about puberty, because puberty happens because of the gonads that we just read about, okay? Can you guys see and hear my audio okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, here we go.
Sam and Stacy have been best friends their whole lives. so it wasn't surprising that their kids, Amanda and Adam, became great friends too. But as Amanda and Adam grew up, some key differences began to emerge. Amanda started to go through puberty very early, at 7 years old. Meanwhile, Adam went through his late. He's 13 and hasn't started yet. Not only did this get in the way of their friendship and cause a lot of social anxiety, but there are also some potentially serious consequences to early or late onset puberty. These include short stature, changes in bone density, and possible fertility problems later on. There are 5 stages of puberty defined by pubic hair growth, the degree of breast development in females, or the size of the testes and length of the penis in males. Puberty starts when the part of the brain called the hypothalamus starts producing more gonadotropin releasing hormones. These gonadotropin releasing hormones cause another part of the brain, the pituitary gland, to increase luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. All of these signals cause awakening of the testes or ovaries, starting breast development or penile enlargement. When something goes wrong in this process, early or late puberty can occur. Sam and Stacy take their kids to an endocrinologist to see what's going on. The doctor does several tests. Blood tests are taken to measure levels of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, estradiol or testosterone, and other hormones. Imaging can also help with diagnosis. This may involve pelvic ultrasound in girls and magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, of the pituitary and surrounding structures if a tumor or damage to that area is suspected. Fortunately for Sam and Stacy, the problems are easy to correct. With the help of the information on hormone.org and their endocrinologist, Amanda is able to understand the changes happening in her body, and Adam is put on hormone supplement to speed up the process. If your child is experiencing the symptoms of early or delayed puberty before 8 years old or after 14, visit hormone.org today to get more information.
Okay, so again, another quick little short video about that system, and that concludes all of the glands of the endocrine system. So I just wanted to show you where we are and just kind of wrap it up there. So that's the last one. That's all of the organs. And for your upcoming summative project, like we read at the beginning of class, you're going to choose a pathology of the endocrine system. I just listed the ones that are mentioned here in the book. Can you read us, please, Alma, the ones I just highlighted, all the pathologies that I found in the book? Anna, can you read these, please?
Type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, Graves' disease, hypothyroidism, I don't know.
Hypothyroidism,
Hyperthyroidism, thyroid cancer, acromegaly, gigantism, polycystic ovary syndrome.
Yeah, good. So all of these are mentioned in the book. And like Kenneth read us, you're going to, in groups, explore any of these that you want, similar to how we used to do our DC frames. And I wanted to just show you a couple of websites where you can find that stuff. Like I said, this hormone health network is a great place to start. So if you go to your pink website folder, I linked it for you right here, Hormone Health Network. And can you guys see my website okay? You can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you go to Hormone Health Network, and it's really, really cool. Look, they have a section all about diseases. So you just click on conditions A through Z. And pick a gland, any gland. Kenneth, name any of the glands we've talked about this week.
Gland.
Which one?
Thyroid.
Okay, the thyroid. So you go to gland, you scroll down to thyroid, click on that, and boom, here it is. hypothyroidism, which is what Anna just read it about, but there's others. There's goiters, there's Graves' disease, there's a ton, okay? So there's the hyperthyroidism they watched the video about. So please use this as a tool to help you do your summative assessment. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up here then, just to make sure that we're clear. So there are 3 upcoming assignments for this module. What are the 3 upcoming assignments, please, Scarlett?
The discussion board and the quiz and the project.
And yeah, so you have your quiz right here, which you can do now. Okay, if you message me now, I'll turn it on for you. Here's the discussion board, which again, the plan was to do it on Monday so we could actually get into Zoom groups and discuss what we learned throughout this chapter. I had put that for Monday. And then once you're done with all that, and if you finish all that early, you can begin your pathology project using the Hormone Health Network website. But again, like we read, you cannot do this project until you at least complete the Chapter 7 quiz, okay? Because the Chapter 7 quiz is pretty much a check-in of all the stuff we've read. So if you don't understand any of it, you're definitely not ready to present to me your project. Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if no other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and end early because we're done. We finished the entire chapter. So great job there. If you do not have any other questions, but you want to start the quiz, you can just message me directly and I'll turn it on for you individually. If you still need to study, then just go ahead and study and I'll be available all day for you to take it till 3 o'clock today. So you can use this time now to study for the quiz. It's not a huge deal. It's just a quiz. The discussion board and the project are a little bit bigger, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and end, look like 30 minutes early. So please use this time to study and or take your quiz now. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay, all right, guys. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Again, if you want to take your quiz, just message me now, all right? All right, guys, I'll go ahead and let's see, someone just messaged me. Okay, cool. So I'll go ahead and turn on the quiz for the people that are requesting it of me. Other than that, I'll see you guys on Monday. Please use this time to study or take the quiz because Monday we're doing the discussion board. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Bye.